Hello students, welcome to the online lecture series of St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management, Gurugram. Myself Satinder Vats, Assistant Professor in ETC Department. In today's video we will see the block diagram representation of LTI systems or first order systems or second order systems, which is a part of unit 3rd of signals and systems in EE 4th semester. Okay, so a representation of LTI systems using system function and differential equations. So system function is same as that of transfer function. For continuous time system it is called transfer function, and for discrete time system it can be termed as system function, but both are the same things. So if we have a transfer function of for a system as Hs, which is the system response or impulse response of the systems. So Hs is the transfer function, Xs is the input in frequency domain, and Xt is the input in time domain, whereas Ys is the output of the system and Yt is the output in time domain. So system function or transfer function of the system can be given as the ratio of the output to the input, that you all know. That is, transfer function is nothing but the ratio of output in frequency domain divided by the input in frequency domain, that is Ys upon Xs. So to get the better understanding, let us take an example. So in this example, consider we have an input to a LTI system as LTI system means linear time invariant system. So if Xt is this one, that is e raised to power minus 3t into ut, and output of the system is e raised to power t, e raised to power minus t minus e raised to power minus 2t ut. So if I'll take the Laplace transform of both input and output, I will get Xs as it is the Laplace transform of input signal e raised to power minus 3t ut. It comes out to be 1 upon s plus 3 with ROC real part of s greater than minus 3, whereas the Laplace transform of output would be this one, that is 1 upon s plus 1 for e raised to power minus t ut and minus 1 upon s plus 2 for the e raised to power minus 2t ut. So when I combined it, it becomes 1 upon s plus 1 into s plus 2 for real of s greater than minus 1. So this is my output in frequency domain and this is my input in frequency domain. So the transfer function would become Ys upon Xs. So this is my transfer function. Since the degree of denominator is 2, so this is a second order system. Okay, if system was of this form, like this 1 upon s plus 1, then it would be a first order system because the degree of s is 1, whereas in this example we have the power of s in the denominator is 2, so it is a second order system. So zeros of the systems can be find out for which the values of s for which our transfer function becomes 0. That is, if I take s is equal to minus 3, it will be 0. So for the values of s for which our numerator becomes 0, or the full function, as the numerator becomes 0, the full transfer function would become 0. So we would calculate zeros from the numerator of the transfer function, while poles are the value of s for which our system becomes infinite. Since if I take s is equal to 1 in the denominator, it becomes 0, and something upon 0, x upon 0 would be infinite. So in this case it would be s plus 3 divided by 0, so it would be infinite. So zeros are the values for which the transfer function becomes 0, and poles are the values for which transfer function becomes infinite. Okay, so now let's see the general form of a transfer function. So this is the generalized form of a transfer function. in which we have a numerator and a denominator both in terms of s. If it is the Laplace, we can have also in the Fourier transform as well. So it will be b naught s raised to power m plus b1 s raised to power m minus 1. The power of s will keep on decreasing, and b naught b1 are the coefficients. Similarly, in denominator we have a naught Sn plus a1 Sn minus 1 plus an minus 1 up to an. So this is the generalized forms of a transfer function of a LTI system. For the LTI system, the denominator, that is n, degree of denominator should be greater than or equal to m. If it is not the case, then our system will become non-causal. If the degree of numerator becomes greater than denominator, then system will become non-causal and it will not be a practical system, it will be non-practical. So always for an LTI system, n should be greater than or equal to m, where n is the order of the system. So we can transform it in this form, that is zeros and poles. So Hs can be also represented as k into s minus z1. S minus, we have factorized the numerator, similarly we have factorized the denominator, and k in this generalized form is the system gain or the gain factor, a proportional value that relates the magnitude of the input to that of the output signal at steady state condition. Okay, so k is the system gain or gain factor. Z1, Z2, Zm are zeros of the system. P1, P2, Pn are the poles of the system where the value of transfer function becomes infinite. And this condition I have already told you, n should be always greater than or equal to m if we need a causal system or a practical system which will be physically realizable system. Okay, so these are the conditions for the transfer function. Now poles and zero, ratio of the denominator polynomial of the transfer function, roots of the denominator. So poles are nothing but the roots of the denominator at which the denominator becomes 0 or the transfer function becomes infinite. So value of s at which the transfer function becomes unbounded or infinite, which I have already told you. Okay, similarly zeros are the roots of the numerator or at the values of s at which numerator becomes 0 and values of at which the transfer function vanishes or becomes 0. So this is the zeros. So these are poles and zeros. So if we have a function like this, transfer function hs is equal to ys upon xs is equal to s plus 3 upon s square plus 3s plus 2. So zeros are s is equal to minus 3 and poles are s is equal to, the poles of this equation would be the roots of s square plus 3s plus 2. Okay, so we can write this in this form, that is ys into this and xs cross multiplication. So if I want to convert it into a differential equation, then I can take the inverse Laplace transform. So as s square ys would become the second differential, s square ys would become the second differential, second order, d square by dt, d square yt by dt square. Similarly 3s ys would become 3 into dyt by dt, as it is the first order. Multiplication of s would result in first order differential, and 2ys become 2yt. Similarly we can do for the input. So this is how we can convert our equation into differential form. So now let's see the block diagram representation of these LTI systems. So what is block diagram representation? It is a shorthand pictorial representation of the system which depicts each functional component or subsystem. So there will be some component, that is it can have a feedback component or a multiplicative component or a adder. So it will have number of subsystems, and it will also depicts the flow of signals from one subsystem to another. So block diagram representation provide a simple representation of complex systems Block diagram enables us to calculate the overall system transfer functions. If we have a connection of different LTI systems with different transfer functions, then using block diagram we can calculate the overall transfer function of that system. So there are two forms, that is cascaded or series form, or the series form, or the parallel form. So in cascaded form, two LTI systems or more than two systems are connected in series, that is output of one is fed to the input of other. So in this case the overall transfer function would be this, that is multiply in the frequency domain. So overall transfer function of this system whose output is ys and input is xs would be, overall transfer function can be calculated as ys, that is the output in the last, and the initial input, this is hs. So hs comes out to be h1s multiply h2s and h3s if it is a case of series connection. And in the time domain it will be the convolution, as we have already known the multiplication frequency domain will be convolution in time domain. So in time domain ht would be h1t convolution h2t convolution h3t. Similarly, if we have a parallel form, that is two systems are connected in parallel and both of them are fed with the same input and output is yt. So hs would be h1s plus h2s and ht will be h1t plus h2t. Now if we have a feedback mechanism in our system, that is the output is feeding back to the input, then it will look like this, that is this is xt input, yt is output, and this is our transfer function h1s, and output is now feeding back to the input using a transfer function h2s. So in this case we can see that ys, that is the Laplace transform of yt, is equal to h1s into e1s, as es is the input to this transfer function, which is a error signal. So hs in h1s into es is ys. Similarly es, what is es? Es is xs minus this zs, which is coming out of this transfer second function. Okay, and zs is nothing but zs is what? Ys multiply this transfer functions. Okay, so zs is h2s into ys. So using all these three equations I can find out that ys would come out to be this h1s multiply es, and es is xs minus zs, in which I have replaced zs with this function. Okay, so ys has now come out to be this one, h1s into xs minus h2s into ys. If now I rearrange this equation and find the hs, it comes out to be hs is equal to ys upon xs, which comes out to be h1s, that is the our open loop transfer function, plus 1 upon h1s into h2s, where h2s is the feedback transfer function. So this is our final transfer function for a feedback interconnection, that is h1s upon 1 plus h1s plus h2s, and this is for a negative feedback, as we are giving it negative feedback. Okay, now let us take an example. In this example, consider an LTI system with system function. We are given a system function hs is equal to 1 upon s plus 3. So this is ys upon xs given to us as 1 upon s plus 3. So I can rearrange it as 1 upon s divided by 3 by s plus 1. If I divide both the numerator and denominator by s, so it will become 1 upon s divided by 1 plus 3 by s. If now I compare it with the feedback form, that is h1s plus 1 upon h1s into h2s, so h1s comes out to be 1 upon s. So I have put it over here, the first block is 1 upon s with transfer function, that is the open loop transfer function. So now I need to find out the value in the feedback. So if I compare the denominator, I would get 1 plus 3 by s is equal to 1 plus h1s into h2s. So 1 upon s is our h1s, so 3 is remaining, so in this 3 would be h2s. So this is our feedback transfer function 3, and it will be a negative sign because we are comparing it with a negative feedback. Okay, or I can also represent it as plus 1 upon s, or if I take minus 3 here, okay, if I take minus 3 then it will be plus over there. So both are the same thing. Okay, so this is how you can draw the block diagram for a first order system, because it is a first order system, as the value of s, power of s in denominator is 1 upon s plus 3. So you can check that, you can all easily see that it is a first order system. So now let's take another example and try to represent it in the block diagram form. So we are given that hs is equal to s plus 2 upon s plus 3. It is s plus 3, sorry, it is s plus 3, s plus 2 upon s plus 3. So it would become now 1 upon s plus 3 if I take it as a multiplication of two systems. Okay, so it would be the case of a cascaded form, 1 plus s plus 3 multiply s plus 2, because we have seen that in cascaded form two system functions are multiplied in frequency domain. So for 1 upon s plus 3 it would be this function, okay, and second is s plus 2, so it would be s plus 2, and now we have combined them in series. So this would become the block diagram representation in cascade form. So this is a cascade form. You can also draw it in the parallel form as well. We will see in the next example. We will try to design with all the possible forms. So let's see this example in which we have a second order system of in which the transfer function is given as 1 upon s square plus 3s plus 2. So if I represent it in the differential form, it can be written as this: d square yt by dt square, because it will be equal to ys upon xs. Okay, so if I cross multiply it and then take the inverse Laplace, it would come out to be d square yt by dt square plus 3 dy by dt plus 2 yt plus xt. And one more thing is there, that if it is an LTI system, then all the constants, that is 1, 3, 2 and 1, all the constant in this equation, differential equation, should be time independent. Okay, if this coefficient, sorry, I was talking about the coefficients, all the coefficients should be constant, they should not be time dependent. If I say that, if we have a system in which instead of 3, if I multiply it with 3t into dy by dyt by dt, so it would not remain a LTI system, as the coefficient is a variable which is depending upon time, so it will be a time variant system, whereas in a LTI system we need a time invariant system, linear time invariant system. So if any of these coefficient becomes time dependent, then the system would not remain LTI system. So if you come across a differential equation in which there is a coefficient which is time dependent, then there is no need to solve it, it would not be a LTI system. Okay, now let's first start with the direct form. So in this, what we have to do is, I can see that it is a second order differential equation, so I would put two blocks. Okay, these two blocks would represent a second order system. If it was a second order, if I don't have this function, then I will be having only one block for dyt by dt, that is 1 upon s. But now in this case I have second order as well, so I will be having two such blocks, 1 upon s, 1 upon s. If it was like third derivative was there, dy d cube yt by dt, so I would be having one more 1 upon s over there. Okay, so first of all see what is the order, then put that number of blocks in that. Now we can see in this equation, this is our xt on the right hand side, so we will represent xt, and out of the second block I will be taking yt. Now as we can see, there is the coefficient is 2, so I will take 2 from the output yt and multiply it with -2. If it was -2 over there, then if it was -2, then I would have taken +2. So if it is +2, I would multiply it with, that is the output would be multiplied with -2. Similarly for the first derivative I have multiplied 3, that is the coefficient is 3, so I will take, for first derivative it will be taken as -3 multiplied. Okay, because here I am taking the first derivative. If, and in this case we don't have any coefficient, so it would be 1. If there was any coefficient also like that, if it was 2 into d square by dt, so I would have taken one more -2 over there. So this is how you can represent with the direct form using the differential equation. Okay, by looking at the differential equation of the transfer function, you would have easily, you can draw the block diagram. Next form is cascaded form, that is the series form. So I can see that it is the multiplication of two system, 1 plus s plus 2 into 1 upon s plus 1. So I will draw for 1 plus s plus 1 and for 1 plus s plus 2, which we have already seen. These are two first order systems. So for one first order it would be this, and for other this would be this, and we will put them in series. So output of this will be fed it to the input. So this is the most easiest form, cascaded form. Now if I want to draw it in the parallel form, so as I know, in parallel form the final transfer function is of the form like this: h1s plus h2s, h1s plus h2s. So I need to describe our transfer function in the addition of two functions. So I, using partial fraction, I have written my transfer function this in this form: 1 upon s plus 1 minus 1 upon s plus 2 using partial fraction. Now this is a combination of two transfer function, so I will take first system here, which is a first order system, and second here, and both are fed with the same signal xt. And as the coefficient is minus for second transfer function, we have minus sign here, so I will multiply it with -1 and then add to the second transfer function and get the output. So this is how you can represent our transfer function or a system into the block diagram form. There are three methods, that is the direct form, which you can easily do using the differential equation. Second is cascaded form, in which the transfer function is written in the multiplication of two transfer function, and in the parallel form we would be having transfer function as the addition of two functions. Okay, so this is it for this lecture. Thank you very much.